Hey, Warrior Saints. Glad to have you beautiful people with us today as we join our Monday. When I was in high school or college, we sang this version of the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi in our choir. It must have been college because that was a Catholic school and they could do things like that. And it starts with, "Make me a channel of thy peace. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace." What is a channel of peace? Can we turn on a dial on our TV channel? Oh, we don't even have dials on our TVs anymore. But can you turn on your TV and put on the channel of peace? Christ says in Matthew 5:9, Father talked about this last week, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God." There's all this focus on peace, like in order to actually be able to do what we're called to do, to be who we're supposed to be, to do what we're supposed to do, to really we got to get to this place of peace. And nothing is giving me peace. Nothing is bringing me to that calm. Nothing is bringing me to that even keel. Is it something that is external or is it something internal? I think we know the answer. Something internal. Something that we have to find within us. A type of equilibrium that we have to seek to focus on. Because when it feels like the rage inside, we need to get past that. We hear this in the story of Elijah when he's standing in the mountain and he wants to find God and he looks for God's voice. And there's an earthquake and there's a tornado and a wind and all these storms and excuse me. And after all of it, Christ is there in the still small voice. God calls to Elijah in that still small voice. I want that. How do I get there? How do I get to that place? I think the answer is unlocked in that story of Elijah. So we got to stop listening to all the externals. Everything that is surrounding us is going to draw us out and away from peace. It's going to pull us closer and closer to that rage, to that lack of peace, to that place where it's just so easy to go. There's so much that happens that's annoying. We're pulled in so many different directions at so many different times. And yet our job is to follow God's will as warrior saints. And in order to follow God's will, we have to hear God's will. And in order to hear God's will, we have to have that peace so that we can chase after that still small voice. So we could chase after that calmness, that stillness, that peace. And then we can become channels of peace. Because let's be real. Just like we have all those external forces that we feel like are bombarding us and pulling on us, we are an external force to someone else. Which means that in order for us to be a channel of peace, we have to extricate ourselves from that externality and being that external force that is pulling on someone else and help them find their peace by not adding to their chaos. Which means we first have to find peace, so that we don't have chaos inside, which we then try to recreate outside. Because that's ultimately where all that external stuff is coming from, right? People feel chaos in their world, in their lives. And we want to match the inside of our chaos around us outside. So we create chaos. But if we're trying to become channels of peace, it means that we acquire that peace inside, which then gives us the opportunity to focus in a little bit on what God's will is so that we can hear his voice and follow his commandments. We'll be back tomorrow as we continue with our crucifixional live streams. And until we see you then, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.